July 21st, 2019. PewDiePie brings Minecraft back from the hypothetical grave. It wasn't quite dead, but it wasn't in great shape either. Millions of new, excited players buy the game and join into their first world. Returning fans, driven by nostalgia, dust off their old worlds and look back on their childhood escape rooms. Minecraft had returned, and it was about to make a bang. July 6th, 2019. Dream uploads his first video onto the platform. A combination of timing, combined with research, skill, and luck, set him on one of the fastest growing YouTube careers of all time. And he wasn't alone. The new generation was here, and it was here to stay. Minecraft had a new empire. Their meeting space, Twitter. Minecraft Twitter became one of the most prominent communities on the entire internet. A new generation of kids supporting their favorite content creators in this new aged way of Twitter. They were given a label. They were the stans, the Minecraft stans. And they left an impression on the entire internet. They could get their favorite creators trending within minutes. They were powerful. Dream and his fellow content creators had an army at their disposal. And sure, they might not be the most intimidating army you've ever seen, but they were powerful where it mattered. The internet. But the internet doesn't take too kindly to, well, anything, really. And that is where I'll stop the dramatic tone of the video. Hey, how's it going? Slaw here. I'm a commentary YouTuber, I guess, who's been kind of critical of stan culture for the past, for quite a while, okay? Some of you may have seen these videos and agreed, some of you may have disagreed, and that is completely fine because I've been reflecting a lot and I'm not entirely happy with what I've said in those videos. And a recent Twitter drama, yeah, I know, right? Drama on Twitter? What? Crazy. But recent Twitter drama made me want to make this video. So here we go. Let's get into the drama. Josh, or however you say it, a friend of CallMeCarson, went on a Twitter tirade on stans and stan culture. By the way, if you're wondering why I have an eyebrow slit and a cap on, I shaved my head and an eyebrow slit for charity over at twitch.tv/SlawTV. Oh god, I miss my hair. And Josh had this to say: if you are a stan, a part of a Twitter group, or participate in any activities associated with the culture, please unfollow. I cannot tolerate it any longer and wish to have nothing to do with it. I don't care if this has to do with me or someone else, the culture is toxic. He followed with this big thread, but you can pause it if you want, I'll just pick out the main points from it. Number 1, he is tired of people obsessing over him, and more so over other content creators such as Dream. 2, people who partake in stan culture are mentally unwell, yikes, immature, and easily influenced. Number 3, they're a hive mind, thanks to Twitter, and in some tweets he made on his other account. Number 4, stan culture shuts down critical voices. And number 5, creators purposefully engage stan culture for profit. Implying that Dream does this, which is pretty juicy, you know? And they are the 5 main points, and I'm just gonna jump straight into talking about those in the video. This is what we're going to be talking about, alright? Cool. If this battle should leave me slain. Now this one is probably the longest point out of the 5. Josh is basically saying he is tired of stans in general. He is tired of people obsessing over him, and he doesn't like seeing it happen to other people on Twitter either. But the thing I need to address, which will structure the entire video, you need to listen to this bit, okay? It's important. The definition of stan has changed a lot over the past year, okay? I'm sure you've all heard oh, well, stan actually comes from the Eminem song Stan, which means stalker fan, and blah, blah, blah. I'm sure you've heard it, okay? And it's a valid point. But you would be wrong to agree with this point. However, you'd also be wrong to disagree with this point. Remember when I said there's a new generation? I just realized I can see myself in that mirror. That is really going to annoy me. I'm on like a temporary setup, okay? Hey, if I have to deal with it, so do you, okay? I've tried to fix it. I don't know what else I can do. Remember I said at the start, the new generation is here. And a lot of people in this new generation don't refer to stan in that regard. They probably weren't even alive when the song was made. They're self-proclaimed stans. They're fans who are engaged in the community. Or as Dream tweeted, stans, a group of people trying to meet each other with similar interests whilst expressing this interest through shared morals, love, and creativity. And look, he's not wrong. This is the new definition of a stan. And look, I've hid away from it too, but times change and we have to change with it too. But this is such a one-sided take from Dream because Dream is not a kid. He is aware that stan has changed meaning over the years. And just as the new meaning needs to be embraced by me and other people on the internet, Dream and people who consider themselves stans need to be aware that whenever people say something regarding stans, it might not actually be referring to them or the people they think it's on about. And I'll use this as an example. Let's say YouTuber A says he dislikes people standing him. He uses the original definition, which is a negative one. He didn't like people stalking him, speaking for him, lecturing him on who he can and can't be friends with. Negative traits, I'm sure you can agree, that he attributes to his stans. But many of YouTuber A's fans are from the new generation who are using the new meaning of stan, the one Dream said earlier. They're going to feel attacked by YouTuber A and commentary YouTubers who make videos on the situation, because they're using two different definitions. It's obviously gonna cause a bit of a kerfuffle, as I found out myself. It will take a bit of time for everyone to get on board with this new definition, and they might not. I've personally decided to embrace it. I won't be referring to stans in a negative way anymore, like I have done in all of my other videos. You know, I'm adapting to the times. I'm such a boomer. But you also have to understand, people have been using the word stan in a negative way for a good decade. And in my Twitter bubble, you, Dream, popularized this new meaning of stan. And you tweeting a definition of it doesn't necessarily change it for everyone. Where I do heavily disagree with Josh though, is that he knew who would read his tweets. And he's also including Dream's majority child fanbase, who even I know don't use the same definition of stan. Unless of course he is just addressing Dream's fanbase in general, in which case his argument is completely dumb for the entire of this thing. But I don't think he is. I just think he was kind of asking for trouble by not being clear who he's on about when he refers to stans. So Josh said, people who partake in stan culture are mentally unwell, immature, and easily influenced. No, again, if we're referring to the literal definition that most people, I would say, are familiar with, then sure, that is actually probably right. These people are usually stalkerish and obsessive to an unhealthy level. That was sort of the definition before it got a bit mixed up. Which is why I kind of want to give Josh the benefit of the doubt in some way. Surely he wouldn't call this many people mentally unwell. Like, surely he only means, you know, the bad apples of the bunch. But let me say this, not every stan is mentally unwell. Not every stan is immature. They just enjoy supporting their favorite content creators. And the important thing to do here in this entire debate is to not generalize stans, because that's not an option anymore. Too many people have this new definition where they enjoy referring to themselves as a stan. Give it a year or so, and I'm sure the official definition of stan is going to change. And trust me, I've done so many videos on stan culture this year, but I finally realized that I'm probably hurting or offending people for the sake of me not accepting that stan probably has a new definition now. And even if it's not an official new definition, it just kind of makes sense to play into their court a bit and not kind of attack more people than you intended to. Not that I was attacking anyone, but you know what I mean, right? But going back onto the immature thing, I mean, they're mainly kids, right? I mean, of course they're going to be immature. Imagine being a mature kid. I was definitely not mature when I was the age of Dream's demographic. What a boring childhood that would be. Also, if you're a stan and someone calls you immature, sure, own it. You're a kid. You're not meant to be mature, which is why I'm regretting some of the videos I've made in the past, because when it boils down to it, the majority of the time, it is just kids having fun. And actually, I'll include point number 4 in this one as well. This is a valid argument. Cancel culture is caused by stans because there are so many of them and most of them are young. And it's very easy for them to band together and attack people who have a different opinion or a different viewpoint to them. In fact, some of them find it fun, which again, I'm giving Josh the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to presume he is referring to these people, the people who purposefully seek to cause drama or to hunt down other people who don't have the same viewpoint as them. Just an example, someone says, I don't like GeorgeNotFound. The replies are just filled with GeorgeNotFound fan cams and pictures and TikToks, etc. And you know what I mean, you've definitely seen them before. And most of them are probably doing it in an innocent way, although it is extremely frustrating to see on Twitter. But it comes down to the maturity thing. Yeah, they're immature because they're kids. Deal with it. It's very easy for them to hop on the bandwagon. And trust me, I hate cancel culture. I wish it didn't exist. But these kids, they kind of enjoy banding up together to stand against something. It feels like they're part of a community, a part of a cause. Just like when you were little, you used to hate on people who supported the opposite football team to you. The only difference is now, compared to when I was a kid, so many more people have access to Twitter. It just seems an overwhelming amount sometimes. And I've had a small taste of being cancelled by a group of stans, and it does suck. It does suck. So I can see why Josh is annoyed, because Josh is a bit of a less family-friendly content creator. He's watched his friends Carson and some of the Lunch Club get cancelled by this stan culture. So I do think some of his arguments are valid, just like a lot of the people criticizing him have valid points, you know? I know I've said this so much, but I am so determined that the main cause of this whole thing is the fact that there's two separate definitions going on of what a stan means. Because I personally don't see how you can hate someone for just being a fan of someone and enjoying the community aspect of it. It doesn't make sense to me. Oh no. So creators purposefully encouraging stan culture for profit. He also implied Dream did this. This is a bold claim. Dream commented on my video, Dream stans are the worst fan base on YouTube. Yes, it was very awkward for me, okay? I like Dream. I think Dream is a good guy. But Dream said this in the comment section of my video. I've been caused way more problems from the Dream haters than Dream stans. I'm not very happy with the way Dream stans get portrayed on YouTube, honestly. A lot of the things I get attributed to Dream stans are actually stans of other creators that hate me or just Dream haters in general. Trust me, I would know. And this is weird because I've watched self-proclaimed Dream stans turn on him for various reasons, and Dream is basically saying here that his stans aren't the issue, but it's the other creators' stans that cause the drama. But that doesn't really cut it, because I'm sure the other creator feels the exact same way about you and your stans. It's just endlessly fueling this fire and also kind of creating a divide between these two stans. Where Dream missed the mark, in my opinion, on this comment is when he said, I'm not happy with the way Dream stans get portrayed on YouTube. In reality, he should have said, I'm not happy with how stans are portrayed on YouTube. Because like I said, I have also been unintentionally generalizing stans by using it in the term that I was familiar with. And I know other people have too, which has made people kind of group all stans together and consider them to be a lot more toxic than they really are. But the issue isn't a specific fan base. It isn't your fan base. It isn't your rival's fan base. It's how stans are interacting with other people who disagree with their opinion. Just stans in general. But like I said before, that's kids' view. They enjoy having these battles with each other. I know, I just don't see this changing anytime soon. I think this is just the norm now and we have to expect it. But Dream using stan culture for profit? No. But being ignorant of the reasons that people dislike stan culture? Maybe. Honestly, I'm not sure. I would love to have a chat with him about his perspective on everything, to be honest. Overall, I think Charlie, or Slimesicle, said it best. I've seen stan communities create mind-blowing art and build great friendships, and I'm very happy that they're able to enjoy their interests to their fullest with like-minded, passionate people. I'll also say though, that I've seen concerning behaviour around idolising creators, and I do worry about the long-term mental health impacts the more radical and reactionary parts of stan culture will have on creators and the people engaging in these behaviours. And this is similar to what I talked about in my The Rise of Cancel Culture video, where I said, kids growing up with this mindset on Twitter could take it into the real world, where if someone doesn't have the same opinion as them, they do have a fit, they're not capable of having a debate. He then follows on to say, basically, I think the stan community and what they create is awesome. Just be careful and recognize that content creators are people and not characters in a show. Respect boundaries and think before engaging in the reactionary behavior that social media rewards. And I think that is the perfect middle ground to this entire Twitter explosion that has just gone on today. I have no issue with people who call themselves stans. The only things I've ever made videos on is specific instances, specific tweets, things that I have called out and picked on specifically. And I think that is probably the most balanced argument I can make. The only bit I haven't really touched on is the hyperfixation and ADHD aspects of some of the tweets that were made. And that is because, one, I'm not qualified, okay? I don't know what I'm talking about. But two, which I guess is a bit more controversial, I think a lot of people use it as an excuse to do horrible things. For example, drawing minors in sexual ways, which I've made a video on. And I also feel like whilst yes, it might help hyperfixating over content creators, in the long run, that's really not a beneficial end game, right? My only wish is people who do rely on hyperfixating on creators are also getting external help where they need it, or medication, because you can't go your entire life fixated on someone else. I mean, you can, but is that really how you want to spend your life? I think it's a bad idea. I think you should live your own life and not live through the lens of someone else's life or following the trends of Twitter. But I appreciate you watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Again, comment below if you disagree with me on something. I'd like to talk about this, you know? This can be a communication. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.
Money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. A phone in affection, I summon in